Hello, everyone. Hey, it's Tony at Shining Hawk Healing. Thank you so very much for being here. My guest today, Adrian from Lentil Healing, and Mr. Johnie from Tarot's Apprentice. We're talking about decks here today. We're like shuffling things around a little bit just to, take our minds off of other things. So how have you guys been doing, Adrian? What's going on for you?
What's going on? Y'all just answered 18 questions that I had off camera, so thank you. So now I feel like my life is set. I feel like I know how to proceed forward with life, and it is good. I need some more structure and some discipline, so I'm gonna work on that.
So do I.
I got some my brain just went, nope, you're not going to. Functional sentence, that's not going to happen. Book a service, buy products, go to redlentilhealing.com. Next Saturday, we will be doing horoscopes. Tony will be joining me and Johnny will be joining me. So you already know we're going to act up because that was what happens when Tony goes live with us. So we'll cut up.
No, I'm going to be nice. I'm going to be good.
Aries. And then Feel Good Fridays are going on in this world. So I'm going to distract from everything going on. Feel Good Fridays. That's it.
And Johnny, how about you?
Not a thing.
No, except Sundays.
Oh, well, I have, I was about to say, Lord Jesus, where am I at?
I gave you what I just had a second ago. Can't talk.
Because I was about to say, well, tomorrow I'm live with Tony and Adrian. Okay. Reset. So tomorrow I am live with Jace on Jace's channel. We're going to do Oracle reads on her channel. And then Friday, like Adrian said, we will be on actually Tony's channel, right? Doing our non-political live stream, or we should just say whatever you just called it. I like that word.
Friday for Friends?
You called it something else, but yes. I like that because I don't want to say non-political because everything ain't got to be compared to other things. Anyway, and then Sunday will be on Jen's channel, and then that's it.
Are you greasing up your lips? I like the way you hold it because you hold it like a cigarello. Like, and we about to.
That's how he holds his cinnamon too. I'm like, look at that. It looks kind of dark.
And I should stop doing that because it do look like I'm smoking when I don't know nothing about that life anymore.
What life, Johnny?
I don't know what you mean. Don't know what you talk about. Is it dark? And you see me like, Lord Jesus.
I was going through that earlier when I first jumped in the back. I was talking to her. I was like, why is it so dark in here? I was like, I should probably turn on some lights.
I look like I'm hiding with Anne Frank or something.
That's what I told you. You look like you were
I ain't scared of you. Let me come in the light. There we go.
It's brighter.
You wanted to turn on some more light. There you go.
So you guys, decks. Oracle decks. What's your favorite Oracle deck, Adrian?
Okay, that's not how I thought this was going to go. Please hold. My favorite is one that I don't use. You know what? Let me grab it. I have too many. It's like asking me to name my favorite.
Well, how many decks do you have?
I have, what did I tell you guys? 32? 32 Oracle. I have more. I now have more tarot than Oracle, so I probably have like 50 or 60 tarot and 32
Oh my
Oracle.
goodness! You have like a huge bag. What's that bag that you carry all your cards in?
It's actually crates. I stacked them in the drawer crates, and then I put the drawer crates on a rolling cart. Thinking I was going to roll the rolling cart out every time, so I can just say no, they just sit in the closet. But at least I can move it around. But I don't know why. I think this one, and I don't remember the name of the deck. But this one's one of my favorite oracles.
Oh Lord, because I had it.
You had it.
You had that one?
I did.
Did you throw that one away, Johnny?
I did.
Oh, threw it away.
You did. I love it. Just there's something about this deck. It is absolutely, first of all, the colors are so dynamic.
Oh, yeah.
It's got an Eastern medicine feel to it, which is what I love, especially doing a lot of different type of energy healing modalities. It really sits with me. And then one thing about Oracle decks, and Johnny and I talk about this all the time. If you have to, like, if I have, it's already with tarot, you have to memorize 78 cards, and each card has, up to 5 to 6 different keywords on top of different meanings with the keywords. And when you put them down, and it's like, so being a mathematician, which I'm not, that can be 100, no, wait, I think I did the math once, 432 possible meanings. That's too much for my basic brain. So what I like about Oracle is, like, it pretty much should mean what it says on the, if it says energy clearing, the meaning of this card damn well should be something to do with energy clearing. Because that's just, and I said all that with the tarot to say my brain does not have the capacity to memorize more card meanings. It just, and be effective at it. Let's just put it that way. And plus with the Oracle, you need to be able to have some level of, be able to interpret a little bit and kind of let spirit hit. And so that's what I love with this deck. And it's just bold and colorful.
Yeah,
and beautiful.
wow.
So again, that's like me listing my favorite child. And that's just, I'm not going to do that. But that's one of my favorites.
Yeah. And this one speaks to you like I have this deck this deck really just works for me, and it just feels like I have a connection with it. Mm-hmm. And that's why I like to ask people, well, what deck do you feel? I mean, Oracle today, but what Oracle deck do you feel like that connection? Do you have that connection, Johnny, with an Oracle deck? I know you don't do Oracle much anymore, but
Divine Abundance. That's what that deck is.
I saw Terry living with me. I was like, thank you, Divine. Yeah. Johnny, the bad habit of throwing the books away once I get the deck.
I mean, because it should mean what it says. So I don't need the book. Do I have a connection? Yes, actually, sort of. Yes. The Queen of the Moon Oracle.
Oh yeah, I've seen that one.
This one, good with that. It's not necessarily like, oh, I just love it, but I do at the same time, because my Oracle self, for I am an Oracle too, I get a lot out of this deck, and all I need is the one word, and I can ramble better than anybody on earth. So all you need to give me is the one word, and they mean what they say. So you don't need to guess. You don't need to come up with nothing else. They mean what they say. Now, the one part about this deck that is a handicap for me is I don't really look. I'm not an astrology person, and they do all have moon cycles on them. And they do mean something, but it don't mean nothing to me. So, so
the moon is up there. I'm down here.
What moon? That's all I can tell you.
Waning Crescent 5.
I don't know.
The waning crescent moon.
I mean, waning crescent 6. What you want me to say?
I have a question do you mind if I ask a question?
No.
Do you guys have different decks that you use with us on YouTube versus what you use in either personal readings for yourself or readings with clients?
Just Oracle or anything?
Anything, but particularly Oracle too.
I actually did a video where it answered this question too. Mm-hmm. I deleted the video though, so I'll answer here. I do, but only by coincidence. Mm-hmm. It's not on purpose. Tarot Newbie, who I seen in the chat, bought me a deck, and they gave her 2 because the first one was poor quality, and then the second one was the one they were a little more proud of. So I use both of them, but one of them I only use for myself, because it's sitting by the bed. And so if I wake up with some weird dream or something, I pull the cards. And so nowadays I have a little pretty box for this one, and I use this one only for the clients. And another one I have 2 of, one for them and one for me. So actually I have to change that answer. Yes, I do.
So it's yes, and it wasn't intentional. That's just kind of
no. Well, no, actually, yes, it was. Because this one I have two of on purpose. The Spellcaster's Tarot,
Mhm.
and I only use this one for real people and not politic garbage and all that.
Mhm.
So it only has that, and then I keep it with its little selenite thing and everything. And I got another box for that. So yes, I do have a deck that's only for people and not for YouTube.
That is the same deck that I use. I only use it for for Reiki and for clients. Yeah, I will place cards if I'm looking for a specific thing. If I'm feeling something, I want to get a more clarity on it, then I will pull those spellcaster cards. And those cards are good for using, casting spells. Actually, you want to put them in a certain order so that you can create a certain thing. So those are I really love those cards as well. Um, I'm going to reveal something to you guys tonight that I'm so excited. And here they are, my cards. Yeah,
Yay!
my
Finally
cards. I'm
here.
so happy.
Amazing.
These are just going to show you a few of them. That is, you are a luminous being, and my favorite thing,
I was trying to
forgiveness.
find a clapping sound effect. But that's taking too long.
And then this little key down here is self-love. So, that's the key to this forgiveness is, you have to be really good at loving yourself in order for you.
Everybody's like, "Yay, Tony!" I'm like, "I know, so excited."
So I'm going to come up with a hard, what do you call it, a date where I'm going to start selling them, and I'll let you guys know next Tuesday when we try this again, hopefully. So, and I'll have a date, a hard, what do you call it, Johnny?
Deadline.
Hard date.
A hard date, so
Deadline.
that you
The
guys
release date.
and I'll be
In business, we're gonna call it a launch date.
There you
launch date, yeah. But I have some like, real. These are the sounds, the mantra sounds here on the card so that you can use these for meditation.
I like
I'm so excited.
that. Me too.
I am too.
So there's some things that I have to correct on this deck. I can't believe the gardener showed up today. So there's some things I have to correct on the deck. So that's why I have to wait on the hard, the launch date.
Mhm.
So, but next week I'll let you guys know when that is. I'm so excited. Thank you very much. Thank you. So
I'm
let's.
happy for you.
I am too. It's like it feels like it's like part of me is like it's about time. God, 9 months, like you were birthing a child, and it wasn't that long, but it just feels like it's like the anticipation's been building. So I'm so excited it's finally ready. So excited.
Somebody wants to do a love show with you, Johnny.
I know. I saw. I was like, you getting the love connection. With
What is
tarot.
that?
Okay, so let's look at is there another deck? This is a question maybe I did ask you. Is there a deck, a oracle deck that can give you information about another deck or a tarot deck or maybe, because there's the Italian decks. I really want like what Becca does with her tiles and stuff. I feel like I'm not smart enough for that.
So what you could do, because you're artistic, and you can get the little wooden tiles, paint them, and then that stuff that's on is just resin or clear resin or something like that. You could do that.
Your resident, yeah.
You could do that.
Oh my God.
You have those tarot cards that are wooden.
I do.
That deck. I love that.
Speaking of my wand, I saw my housekeepers came today and they were going towards, she picked up the wand. I was like, no! It's hidden behind shit. So your ass would, I'm just cussing so much. It's hidden behind so you wouldn't touch it. Like, and that's
Maybe she thought it was a stick. She should get
Ooh,
rid-
I would have been pissed. I'm like, you owe me how many dollars? Please and thank you. Pay me back for that.
Yeah.
Mm.
Don't touch. No touchy. Nothing over here. Don't know.
Don't touch anything over there. Don't touch my cards. So I have this oracle deck that I really love, and I think I did a whole thing on it. This is the Sacred Forest Oracle deck, and it's really pretty. So do you have a deck that you can show right now that you think the artist was exceptional on that particular deck? Gosh,
Throw it away.
Okay, that requires me. See,
you threw it away, Johnny.
I did. That was my Angelarium oracle, and it didn't fit anymore. And then I don't want to keep hundreds and hundreds of things because I don't keep the oracle where I keep my tarot, and so I need actual space for those. They don't.
Do they talk to each other?
They have like the oracles I use once a month, and that's with Adrian's thing. And the tarot I use all the time, so they're in a convenient space. These are always in this bag, which is always in the bottom of the closet under socks and shoes and drawers and all kinds of
So they have a place of honor.
because see, cards aren't sacred to me, and so they just go in a box till I'm ready to use it.
So what do you do when you first get a deck, you guys? What's the first thing you do?
First of all, can we back up because I just got my stuff together to answer your last one.
Go back to the art question. Do you have one that you like for just the art?
I do. One of the reasons this is the archetype card from Carolyn Miss, and one of the reasons I got these because I rarely use them. I mean, unless we're doing like, I don't know, something specific. But the reason I got it is because number one, the back of the card is just so pretty to me because it's got this Asian feeling, this Asian theme. And then just the way the card is designed, it's got amazing cardstock. But when you look at each picture for each archetype, there was a lot of detail. And it kind of feels like they pulled from Pamela Colson Smith when they did the artwork. It's like it's got that same kind of feel. And just when you look at each archetype in the card, the picture, there's a lot of detail portrayed in there that you would kind of gloss over if you actually go and study and pay attention to it. And I just think it's really like it just has such a different, like a heavy feel, but not bad, but like serious. Like I just can't cut up with these cards. I just can't. Like I try to cut up and kiki, but they're like,
no.
Be serious.
Bring it down a notch, just a notch.
Even that, like when you even looking at the, her face, you can see the inks on her face. It's just they're very descriptive.
Very nice. Very nice.
I'm going to go back to the Queen of the Moon Oracle, actually.
I know, those are beautiful.
And they are very pretty. Like, now I don't like it just for the art, but it's a huge, because I like the simplicity of the word. And this is something, okay, off the rails. That's going to a whole nother story. But this is something I can look in the image and bring you a message. And so there is one in particularly that every time I see it, I could spend 48 years just talking about the picture. And naturally, it's not at the top of the deck because why would it be? Because I'm looking for you. This one. And there is an egg, but there's a child in it. And then there's two ducks in the nest. And it's about trust. But that image, I can go, years just talking about the image. And so I love this deck for that too. It sparks my intuition. It sparks my oracle mind. And yes, I'm going to have to stick with this one.
So can you guys use those two decks? Does somebody want to put a question in the chat and we can?
Can we? I don't want to change the show.
Okay.
What, can we pull like 2 oracle cards or something for your oracle cards?
Oh yes, yes,
Let's see
yay.
what comes up.
I'll have to pull with a different deck.
And I've got like specific types of oracle cards, and then
see. I mean, and it came up too. But I'll keep it short. I got power and trust. And that actually to me just it says self-explanatory. Just trust your process. Don't worry about what's going on. Trust your process. Do not with the 10 of wands that we had earlier. Don't let it weigh you down. Don't let it bother you. This is exciting. Keep it exciting because there's power in it. You're already complete. You can just do your final touches, but as far as standing in your power, you are there. So your cards are ready for life. They're ready for the world. So
release the doubt. Don't bring this into it, because those of us who are going to buy it are going to buy it. Those who support are going to support. You've got to let that doubt leave. Release all the doubt that you have, and know that it's going to happen quickly. I was telling you about this earlier. Be ready, because when it happens, and you can't just get an influx of people buying it and go, oh, can y'all wait like 8 weeks? No, I didn't say all that earlier to say it to sound cocky, like learn from this is what I did. No, it's the real, because Spirit kept saying, tell her to be ready. She's got to be ready, because once she says they're ready for purchase, people are going to buy them. Be ready.
I want to.
Yep.
I got energy and magic. Oh, I don't know. So yeah, there's energy in these cards, because I did a reading earlier for Goose, and I just asked the question, is Goose an angel? And this card came up. This is so weird, you guys. It's freaking me out. Where is it? This is one of the cards that I actually have to fix because it was too big. So I have to make this word smaller. But this card fell out for him. I was like, okay, enough said.
Mm-hmm.
He's my little angel.
Not only that, but now you know your cards work.
Now you know your
Yes.
Where do you go to purchase most of your oracle decks? Like, do you have a go-to spot? Do you go to a store? Do you have a particular artist, or like, where's your go-to?
YouTube, because I'm a copycat, and so when I see things that I really, really like, it's like I'll just Google it and find it. And most of the time, it's on Amazon, but wherever it is, that's where I go.
But you use YouTube as your inspiration.
I go to Etsy. I look at those cards on Etsy a lot. And if I can't find what I'm looking for, if I like Johnie, if I'll see something Johnie has, or you. I've seen some cards from you. I'm like, oh my gosh, I really need that deck.
Mm-hmm.
So especially that Monopoly deck that you have, and you both have that one, right? Mm-hmm. And that's the same woman who made these.
Mm-hmm.
Quite a dope deck. So yeah. So,
do you have a particular type of oracle that you guys like lean towards? Like, do you lean towards like soul message type oracles? Do you lean more towards, runes and like those type of oracle cards? Like, do you have a preference, or
I do. I lean for super pretty and simple.
Okay.
Like these, like I want it to look dynamic, because that's kind of the excitement of oracle cards. They always have some big over the top pretty picture. Yeah. But I also need this to be simple. I don't need it to say purity, but it has nothing to do with purity in the book. And so I can't with that. You got to keep that. So over exposure with the picture, like I need the real pretty picture and the simple word. That's my type.
Yeah, I don't know. What was the question again?
Do you have a particular like type of oracle cards that you prefer or lean towards? And it could be like a style, or it could be a look. Like Johnie gave more of a look and preference.
Yeah, I've gone through like phases.
Mm-hmm.
So, because there was one time where I only did runes.
Mm-hmm.
And then I moved from runes and I went back to tarot and, right?
One
I
of my
went back to
favorite decks.
tarot and then it was like tarot and runes. And then
Yeah.
I dropped the runes and it was tarot. And then I started looking at oracle cards. So it's just like, I feel like I'm going through phases with this whole thing.
Mine is and that's another reason I'm so excited for your deck to come out. I have this affinity towards chakra oracle cards. I don't know why. If I see it and if it exists, I buy it.
Mhm.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different type of chakra oracle decks. I don't know. It's just that is my thing because I like to do chakra. This doing energy work. It is nice to kind of use the cards because I'm always curious what does the card say versus what I'm intuiting,
Mhm.
what I'm feeling, and so that is. If y'all see chakra oracle, send them to me because that is just my thing. I don't know why that is like as soon as I see it,
healer.
Yeah.
I don't care how
And
much.
then who is Moose? Who's Moose, guys?
Moose is Becca's dog.
Becca's
Oh, okay. Becca's dog is an alien?
Yeah, we were making fun of him last night or Sunday or whatever day.
Can I ask another question? I'm sorry, I'm taking over. I just like.
This is a chat. This is anybody who wants to chime in.
Do you remember what was your first oracle deck, and do you still have it?
This is called Wisdom of the Oracle, and I fought getting it because it's not a tarot deck, and I'm like, I don't like fluffy and everything's gonna be okay. Well, what if it's not? And I mean, we could make it okay because I don't ever tell a person, you got the tower, have a nice day. It's like, here's what we can possibly do, or here's what you can prepare for, blah blah blah. But this one, I tried to use it in combination with the cards too, and the tarot cards. That doesn't work for me. But this one, I like. This one.
You read the hell out of that deck because I do not get the same mojo jojo with that deck than you do. You be like, boop, boop. I'm like, how did you get that? Because I'm like,
and this is one that I sat and I memorized. I memorized it in a day because of the way that I do my memorization tactic. And I can still remember what these cards mean. If you give me like the one we have also, if you give me one, I don't know what that means anymore.
That deck is beautiful, but I'm like, she said something that don't mean that, and it's got 18 Orishas with it.
I don't know.
So Cece wants to know, have you guys ever purchased a deck that gave you a bad feeling or you felt you needed to get rid of it or remove it from your house?
The Dark Mirror Oracle. I think that's what Johnie and I both had that.
Johnie, visceral reaction.
I
didn't mind the deck so much. Her book was ridiculous.
What was the book?
It was like she took every adjective she's ever learned and put them all in one sentence. And it's like this card could mean, okay, it's peace. Even though in this deck it doesn't mean peace, it means liberation, actually, which is peaceful. She would say, oh, the stars and the moon have now aligned. And it's like, what does the card mean, lady?
It was also dark and sinister too, because it was. Look at the shadow and it was like, and this was back when like me, Johnie, and Tallulah were reading together like years ago. And I remember we did a whole like 4-hour after show once, like going through that deck, and we were like, I can't. It sat in the bottom of, and I didn't like. Yeah, I threw that. I almost burned it because
So you were like, no, it's not. It's in the closet, but no, it's got to be out. I got to get it.
That went in file 13.
The circular one.
And the trash can. What about you, Tony?
I've never had a deck that I felt that way about. If it like, I will take my pendulum and hold it over. If I'm not ordering them over, through the mail. If I'm in the store, I'll use this. Mm-hmm. But I haven't really gotten anything. I've gotten decks that are like meh.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know. I mean, I don't want to call anybody out or anything, but but this deck right here is just, it does not speak to me at all.
Me either.
Which one is that?
This is the Yukio Tarot, and it's a tarot deck, but
Okay.
it's the only deck that I have that doesn't do anything for me. It just I can't even relate to it.
Mhm.
It's just like, oh, what a waste of like $30.
And it's
Yeah.
always the expensive ones. It's never the like $10.99, $19.99 deck. It's always the $42.50. And you're like, jeez, I gotta use this mother sucker.
Can
What's
I
the
ask a
most
question?
you pay for? What?
Because I was going to do what I said on Sunday, another series of live streams called Tarot Talk, where we just talk about tarot things, but it's more than just cards. It's
Mhm.
issues within tarot and tarot community, all that type of stuff. And it brings up a point again, that Jen's question: do you like oracle cards that have some negative cards too? And in the Tarot Tube, which is the tarot side of YouTube, in Tarot Tube, there's a lot of people who say the Three of Swords is not always the Three of Swords. It doesn't always mean heartbreak and betrayal.
What is
Because
it?
if you have a deck where the Three of Swords is pretty, then it's a different thing. It's a softer connotation or something of that nature. So, do you like decks that are only positive and maybe have one or two cards that say something negative, or just completely positive all the
I
time?
think that a deck has to be balanced, just like we are, and we have dark and light in us. So I think that the deck should have the same thing. The deck should be very, very connected to what life is really about, and life is sometimes about pain. Life is sometimes about sunshine. So I think that a deck should have all of that in there together so that you can have a well-rounded reading.
I'm sorry. I laugh because I'm like, I must be a really crappy reader then. Because to me, I think you can have a positive deck, but if the message is still gonna not necessarily be the most positive, it's gonna come out regardless in the deck. Like you can have rainbows and butterflies, but if depending on the querent and the situation, it's still gonna read trash anyway. I mean, that's why I teach people like you don't always have to read in reverse because you're still gonna get the same message. It doesn't matter whether the card's reversed or upright, you're still gonna get a decent reader, you're gonna get the same message. So I don't think I necessarily go for like, oh, I want a positive. It's like I'm gonna look for a deck that's got all positive cards, or I want some that's got it's like, because to me, as long as the topic or the theme of the deck is something that I jive with, the reading is still gonna be the reading for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I love this deck. And see, I love oracle cards, but most of my decks here are tarot cards. I have this one that's the spirit animals, and I did a whole series on these on my channel because the pictures are so beautiful, and relating the animals to like the white stag. It's like I was going on a vision quest, and I was driving through the like Mulholland. There's a circle in Mulholland, and I saw a stag, like huge, and I'm turning around looking to see if anybody else is seeing what I saw, but that stag was there to tell me because I was really nervous because there are bears in them there woods. So I was like, oh no, I'm going to go to the woods and I'm going to get eaten by a bear. And so the stag came to tell me that I was going to be okay. So I was like, okay, all right.
Jen Lynn has a good question. What oracle deck would you recommend to someone trying one for the first time?
None. And the only reason, because the answer that always comes out of my mouth when someone says, what tarot deck should I buy? The Rider-Waite is the one you should buy, and then buy one that you feel connected to. But the Rider-Waite is more than likely what that deck is based off of. So learn that system and then get the one you like. But learn that one, and you can always chuck it out if you don't, because I don't like the Rider-Waite either. But it's always a good starting point. But with Oracle, they don't all mean the same thing. And so they're not all based off the same Oracle system. And so you really have to find one that you find pretty. And then you get into the book, and then let your intuition run amok. But
I was gonna say
An
something.
oracle, you do you. Whichever one you.
And I
Whatever.
went out. I
Go
got
ahead.
the Sibylla Oracle cards because I saw a reader who just is so good at reading these, and it's like they sit in the box because I'm like I don't see what she sees. So it's like you can't really sort of suggest a deck for a beginner because you sort of just got to dive in there and see what it comes out for you, see what spirit says through you, through the cards to you. So, yeah, I would just go for the deck that calls to me. And you know what you're interested in. If you're interested in animals or whatever, just go for that deck and then work with that one. And then you'll be hooked. You'll be buying them like we are, or like Johnny does.
I don't know though, Johnny. Probably sloppy second behind you with the amount of.
You are
I
definitely
got
right there.
one.
You guys are what is it? Nose finish by a nose.
I got 5 more coming though. So, man.
And I just learned, I don't know if I got lucky. I don't know what happened. I was in TJ Maxx and I was in the checkout line and I saw like a whole row of Oracle decks. I said, since when? And tarot. I said, since when does TJ Maxx sell tarot cards? And then Oracle cards. And I went to buy 2 things: a little spatula that was $5.99 and like a little gym towel that was $3.99. $97.42. And they had it right at the sidelines. And I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna have giveaways for the next, and it's gonna take, and I actually hid them for myself so I don't open them in these. I'm like, you are doing these for giveaways, and they're so freaking cute. Oh my god, they're so cute. I have no idea why I told that story. There's a reason behind it. It'll come to me in a minute. I can see how
That's what I did. I went and bought a whole stack because these are the giveaways, and that's like one of these I do not have, but leave it alone. That's not yours.
Oh my god, when you see, they're so cute. I was like, I can't wait. And I was like, good quality decks and like that you would think would be like, and I'm like, these are in TJ Maxx. Yoink, yoink, yoink. I hid them. They're somewhere in that closet, so I don't see them. I just got to remember to do the giveaways and actually give them away.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. My answer would be the same though. Just what, like, I knew from the beginning, years and years ago, that I liked Chakra and wanted to do a Chakra Oracle. So that was the first deck. Chakra Insight Oracle. Even when I started doing YouTube, I had already had 3 or 4 different Oracle and Chakra decks anyway, but this was the first deck I think I ever used on YouTube.
Wait.
So,
okay. That was the same as this one.
Oh yeah, I have that one too.
Johnny sent me this one.
I even bought that one because of Adrian. I was like, oh, I really like those.
This one is the second. I told you I got a whole collection of Chakra decks.
Well, I love them. I think they're
I have a Chakra deck I would not recommend.
Which one?
You still have it?
No, I threw that. I actually returned that mother sucker.
You did?
I returned it. I opened it. I didn't read it. I opened it. I looked at 3 cards, looked at the book, said, this is not what I know, and put it right back in the package and put it back. It depends on what you want. If you want, these cards are not for reading, they're more for affirmation. And I feel I was lied to and bamboozled in the description because it did not say that. And I would never have purchased these. However, when I get stuck and need an affirmation message, a mantra, I will go use this deck. So it's very rare, but it's called Chakra Cards for Belief Change.
So you don't recommend this deck?
I do not. And here's why. If you want a chakra deck to pull and read, this is not going to be the deck for you. Every single card, while they are, see, I won't even take them out of the order. So you can actually go and read them. I actually still have them. I will not shuffle these. It is literally like connection, but the entire purpose is to give you mantras behind it. So to read, these are, and so all of them are just a mantra, a statement and mantra. They're not really for reading purposes. So I would not recommend this deck if you want to be like me, Tony, or Johnny and doing chakra readings. This is not the deck for you. But if you're like, hey, I want to work with kids and teach, or anybody, and teach them a little bit more about the chakra system and use a visual aid, fantastic. So it's more of a teaching aid than a reading aid.
So if you want to be a reader, don't go near those cards.
Use them for reading. That's just my recommendation.
So Jen Lynn, Kyle Gray, she recommends any of the oracle decks start with angel prayers, the Kyle Gray cards.
Yes, and I've given that deck away to multiple people, and they love it. They say it's very vibrant and bright. It's meets Johnny and I's requirements of the card means what it cat snatching says. The card stock size is perfect. It's not too big, and they've got really good shuffle quality. I hear so many nice things about that deck. They had that mother sucker too at TJ Maxx. It's in a closet. Somebody will be getting. I'm doing that.
Oh, me.
Not saying. I'm just saying. Not saying. I'm just saying.
Oh gosh. Linda.
Let's go back to your list. Because we've hijacked your show. I'm so
sure
sorry.
have.
so
I mean, hell, we can always save it for next week.
So I know that Johnny says that the deck chooses the reading a lot of times. Do you feel that way for when you're doing personal readings or readings on your channel, Adrian? Do you feel like the deck chooses the reading?
It will, and it's so funny because I go into my clients cold, even if it's a repeat client. I have no idea what the hell they want to read because for some reason, nobody actually. I have two that actually will in the note section say this is what I want, but most people don't. They just book the session, and it never fails. I will just go into my closet and we'll just start picking decks, and it's really interesting. And so y'all just forgive how this sounds, so bear with me on this one. I will even go put my hand on a deck that has an African theme. So, because I'm like, and it's like, you know what? And I'll grab it. Anyone's like, I wonder if this person's Caucasian. Hopefully they'll be okay with this. But something will say, go grab it. And the camera turns on. I'm like, oh, of course it's an African American. That's why I picked that deck. But it never fails. I don't even think about it. I will just let spirit tell me, because I usually use multiple decks. And there have been times too where I was sitting and doing a reading and I said, pause, give me 1 second, and got up and went and got a specific deck for the client.
Oh yeah, I've seen you do that actually.
And we'll still go grab it. Because something's telling me like go. So yeah, to me, it just 9 times out of 10 it does.
Yeah. Before I get a client, before the thing I will do, before they ask me a question, I'll just do a reading for them first so that I can get clear about what their energy is. And then I'll say, what's your question? So I try to go in cold like that.
Yeah.
So that I can say, well, I think that this is the path that we're on, but you tell me if I'm right or wrong. I mean, I'm not always right. So
maybe I'll save this question for when Johnny does his tarot talk, and hopefully he'll invite me as a guest so I can ask this question during his
You're
tarot.
always welcome.
So never mind. I was going to ask. I was like, oh, I'll wait because I don't want to hijack. What's your next question for us? Sorry. I was like, this is a topic that'll get deep, so let me not ask this question.
Okay, so we sort of like, this is what happened last week is like we were just talking, and all of the questions that I had got answered in the conversation. So it's like when you're in a bookstore, like we were in TJ Maxx or something, and the spirit was like, hello, all these cards are for you.
That is because, though, I talk too much.
Oh,
and you asked me one thing, as they say, you asked me the time and I told you how to build a watch. So that's what happened. So you asked one question and I didn't stop talking for 23 minutes. And so,
oh my God, I love it. Let's work for me.
But yes, that's what happened.
But Johnny, do you even go in the store and look for cards anymore, or you just order all of them?
I've never been. Well, that's not completely true, but for myself, just as a stereotype, I've never been to a New Age witchy store, and so where I've lived, there's never been any. And so I've lived in the deep South in the Bible Belt and all that type of stuff. Amethyst. What do you mean amethyst? You can get one at the Zales in the jewelry department or something, but you ain't getting no loose rocks nowhere.
You need to go shopping with me because I have been in the most obscure Bible. No, seriously, like Bible. I even somehow found I was in Bakersfield, California, a couple months ago. I somehow, and my friend was born and raised there. I somehow found 3 metaphysical stores. He's like, I had no idea these were here. I've lived here. And it's like, I was like, sweetie, you gotta understand, this is my 6th sense. I will find a witchy store no matter where I go, and we'll be up in that hole spending
too much money.
See, I lived in Mississippi, and there's zombies and ghosts everywhere there. So you would think somebody's got a sage store or something somewhere, but then again, everywhere I go, I don't find. Now they have a crystal shop here, but I walk everywhere. So that's downtown. It's at least 430 miles away. So it ain't going. So everything I do has got to be via somebody's website. And that's usually that's where I got all my cards, except for maybe 2. One Adrian sent me, and my very first deck, which I got from Barnes & Noble. And so I don't go to Barnes & Noble to look for decks because I don't ever think of it. It's like when I think tarot decks and stuff, that's the witchy stores, not Barnes & Noble. But that's where I got my very first deck from. So
they have a big collection of oracle and tarot cards.
Yeah, they do, but I don't ever think about it.
And a lot of books on tarot, all of that stuff. They have a lot. They have a nice selection. I like Barnes & Noble. I try to go there as much as I can so that I don't have to go to Amazon, but Amazon still manages to take your money.
Yeah. And,
Books A Million has a very robust, an extremely robust tarot section.
Books A Million.
They were all shutting down where I lived.
Books A Million. So does Second Chance, which is another bookstore.
Yeah.
I went for the first time on my way back from the doctor's office last week. And I'm like, this is exactly why my black behind will not go in. I always drove by. I said, you should go. And I went because I had free time. And an hour, luckily I didn't spend any money, but an hour, because what I liked about Second Chance too, none of the decks were used. They're all brand new, obviously, but they had decks that I had not seen before versus Barnes & Noble and Books A Million has typical stuff you can get on whatchamacallit.
Amazon.
Okay. But no, I don't go anywhere to find them except Amazon, Etsy, and somebody's website.
Yeah. So when you are giving a reading to someone and you feel like this deck, I know the deck chooses the reading, but you feel like this deck is not working. Like I was doing a live yesterday and I felt like my cards just were not speaking to me. I was using these and I was like, they're not really speaking to me today. What is that all about? Usually they're singing, right? I picked up these cards and it just like flow. Do you ever, like, even if they're like cards that you use all the time, do you ever feel like there's sometimes when they're not as open as they usually are?
Yes.
Yes. I will blame myself. And I can't do that because I get really hard on myself. And I'm like, because I will just look, it could be Oracle or Tarot. And I will just look at the cards and it's like I'm reading hieroglyphics. And I'm really surprised you said that, Johnie, because I thought it was just a me thing and holding myself super accountable and feeling like a crap tarot reader. And it'll happen to you on a live, and that's usually when I'm like, you guys skip over me. I need to there's something that's not allowing me to interpret right now. And really, and the truth is, if I was teaching someone to be like, it's probably the question. It's not you. It's probably not you, but I take it personally.
Yeah, I do. I get really like, oh my gosh.
Like I suck. I suck. I need to just stop.
Like, yeah, I have a channel. So.
Very in my feels about it.
What happens to me a lot of times is like I said this before too. I'll look down at the cards and they look blank. Now, not blank as in they don't have images and words. Blank as in it says nothing to me. Like I just like two of swords, six of swords, eight of cups. What is these things? What is? I don't understand. It's like
I know, it's like, what did I wake up with Alzheimer's or something?
and then what makes it worse sometimes is like if I'm doing a 30-minute reading and you got 6, 7 questions, I'll shuffle, but the same cards are in the same place, and I'll pull the same 8 cards, and then 2 are different, and I'm like, okay, put these
I
away,
get multiple
and
decks so I
let's
can
get
make
them
sure I'm
over.
getting a good shuffle game going.
Because I'm trying to get your questions in because you only got 30 minutes, so I'm trying to get your questions in, and your cards are in the same place. I need a whole new deck because I don't need to sit here and shuffle for 48 hours. And it's like, well, I still have more questions. Well, this is the process. I'm sorry, I'm clearing my essay. No, give my money back, sucker.
And do you have this thing where like I'm really bad with this? I will keep shuffling, and the client is asking questions and just trying to hold the conversation. I'm like, and they're like, "What's that noise?" I'm like, "Something." It's because my thing is spirit. I cannot stop shuffling until spirit tells me to stop. I don't know
You have
what
to.
it is, and I'm like, "Sweetie, I got to keep shuffling." Spirit has not told me to stop. It doesn't matter what deck I pick up. So I can't hear you over me shuffling these cards. So you can talk all you want to, but I'm gonna have to ask you this question again in 10 seconds when I'm done. Because spirit is saying shuffle these cards. Shuffle, shuffle.
You have to because they're supposed to be in a certain place for the way you pick your cards. Now, some people pick right off the top. I guess they can stop shuffling sooner, but if you're shuffling, they have to be in a certain place because the certain answer is trying to come out. So you got to keep going until you get there. It could take a minute,
And it's just, I don't know. And then, I just have this, it's just when all my OCD tendencies come out especially a reading that you pay for. You don't see the whole, everybody's like, I have a question. Do people tell you when they book privately that you are very different than how you are on YouTube?
No, because I don't know. I don't act differently because I act the same way on YouTube as I do with people. That's just my customer service face. And I use the same one that I'm using right now in their reading. I'll even try to crack a joke or two. That way, your whole life is not so heavy. But when I'm by myself, I'm quiet and I'm a hermit and I got the resting bitch face and everything. And so, but when I'm in front of people, you got to turn it on.
Yeah.
But when you turn it off, leave me alone.
What about you, Tony? I think you're muted.
Oh, my dogs were barking. No, I don't think so. No one's ever said that to me. It's my thing is that I have to stop, right? Because otherwise I'll go for an hour and a half, and they paid for 30 minutes. And I'm like, well, blah, 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 blah. My husband's like, you can't make any money like that.
That's why I don't offer, because there's several things that I know that I'm going to do for each reading. I'm like, there's no way it's going to be 30. You're getting an hour and 10.
Yeah.
Because it's like we're doing a sound bath. We're doing a meditation. We're getting you grounded before we can do your reading. Then after we do your reading, we close out. It's a shamanic practice.
Yeah.
Tarot reading. So I'm like, no.
I can't do it slower sometimes. Sometimes I just can't do it any faster than that. I have to do it slower. And so, yeah, I was going to
I can ask a question. I'm so sorry. There is, because this is another one of the things that sparked the tarot talk. Is there a card in your oracles that ruined it for you? Like you loved the rest of the deck, but there was just one where it's like, if I could just throw it away, I'm fine. But this card in particularly is either doesn't make sense, it's ugly, it's offensive, it's whatever. Is there just like one card that just ruins the whole thing?
Hmm.
I was about to say no, but yes, actually, I do have that answer.
I'm gonna take a look.
I know exactly what deck it's in.
I have a tarot card that ruins a whole deck for me, but
I think it's this one, but let me confirm. Sound like I'm dealing blackjack or about to play spades.
And on black.
It's actually, oh, yes, that's the one. Okay, I do actually. It is this particular card, the physical health card. She is booty butt naked. I have no problem with this card. And when I use this deck for personal readings, it makes a lot of sense because I can just hold the card up whenever. But when I'm on YouTube, I'm like, I cannot get somebody demonetized for showing these heifers full titties. So I gotta, her breasticles are out. And it's always this card. And I always like, whenever it comes up in a reading that we're doing something on YouTube, I'm like, well, here it go. And in fact, I don't cover her because I'm like, when I use her in personal readings, because I use this deck on myself all the time or with clients, I want the deck to be as it is. Spirit tells me, do not alter this deck. It's supposed to be how it's supposed to be. But when I'm on YouTube, I'm like, well, let me go ahead and cover up her breasticles. And then I feel like my finger over her breasticles is kind of distracting. But I just, and then there's this one too, because I mean, her nippy is way, and it's like zooms in on the nipple. So I'm like, I always have to cover those up.
Yeah. No, I don't have any oracle cards that no cards that I think that I just hate. No.
What about you?
I have a tarot card, but not an oracle card. No.
What tarot card is it?
I'm sure, because I actually had it not too long ago. But so, can you still hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So there is a tarot card, and in this, I think it's called Pagan Cats or Black Cat Pagans or something. I forget. But keep in mind, the deck is not about race. Keep that in mind. It has nothing to do with race at all. The Druid Craft is one of those ones that it's not YouTube friendly because there's a lot of nudity unnecessarily. So this deck is not about race. There's, I think it's called Pagan Black Cat. I forget. It doesn't matter. But there's a lot of black cats. Well, actually, all of them are black cats. Or the same black cat, right? On the world card, there's this one. And there's like, the completion of a cycle or whatever.
Oh, this person is coming out of the black cat suit.
And it's a light-skinned person coming out of a black.
It's the white cat coming out the black cat. Now, here's why every time I pull it.
Wait, what card?
It stops me. This is the world card, too.
Oh, okay.
And mind you, the world card is a nude person on it. So I'm thinking, okay, fine. But then there's like a white cat inside the black cat. So, but here's why it bothers. Because every time I read with this deck and I pull this card, it stops me. And I'm like, okay, it's not conducive to my readings because now it doesn't make sense because now I've stepped into myself and this is all I can see. And so the reason it bothers me is because back in the day, for those who don't know, they used to have soap ads that would have this cartoonish looking black person with the big lips and the big eyes. And they were being washed in this wooden tub and then they would come out white. And so it's like wash off the black and then reveal the purity, I suppose. So this, every time I see this card, that is what I see. And so it just drives me bananas and I can't unsee it now. So it's like, I don't want to throw it away because I know this has nothing to do with what's triggering me, but that's all I see every time I see it. So I can't.
That makes sense. Makes sense to me. This is a tarot card. This is a tarot deck too, because I don't have a lot of cards, but this one right here, the Herb Crafters, I love this deck, but I hate this deck.
Me too.
I love it.
Because I can't commit any of this to memory. It's just too much to remember, and there are just too many cards. So
I liked it because it was different, but I also don't like to. If I mispronounce a person's word or name, especially in the politics, I don't give a crap. But the court cards are in Spanish. And it's like I can't keep saying the wrong word or saying it incorrectly because there's a lot of Spanish speaking people in our audience, and I don't want to sound like I'm being offensive. You know how some people mock Chinese language, and there's so I don't want to sound stupid. Like so I can't. It just drives me insane, and I actually took them out. And so that deck that I have, I still have it. It has no court cards. So I throw them away.
A while ago, maybe a year or a year or two ago, that you had a deck where you had 3 decks together or 2 decks together, and so that you could come up with if you came up with the same card for some reason.
I got that it's a person on YouTube. Her name is Psychic Tracy Brown is the name of the
I know Tracy Brown.
But she has 2 sets of the same court card. So she'll have 2 King of Pentacles, 2 King of Swords, 2 blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
That way, if you're reading on someone and there's a Taurus and then there's a Virgo, they'll both come up. I don't think that's a good idea. But then
it does make sense.
I have a hate relationship with court cards unless I'm reading about people. So yeah, that would just drive me nuts.
Yeah, everybody does.
I got a reading from Tracy when I first moved to California at the Green Man store.
Yes, she used to work.
Because I had made an appointment with another reader, and I went in, and she was like, she started cutting the cards and everything, and then she was like, she looked at me and she said, "I can't read on you." I was like, "What? Okay. I paid for you to read on me. Why can't you read on me?" She was like, I'm sorry. I just can't. I can't read on you." I walked out of there in tears. I was like, what's wrong with me? What do you find so offensive to me? Can we do a reading on that? What the I want to know. I was like, and the Tracy was right next door, and she opened up her door and she was like, "I knew she was going to do that." And I was like, "You're full of shit."
You better tell it how it happened.
No, because she and I was like, "Well, I paid for the reading anyway." I just go, she's like, "Come on in, I'll give you a reading." So she gave me a reading. Yeah. So I met her. She's very nice.
Not grounded. There's something in you that threatens. That's a mirror to her inability to heal with forgiveness. She has not healed something in her, and you bring that up. She cannot be flexible either to whatever in her that's not healed. She cannot bend and get past it with the flexibility card. She can't. She's also not grounded, because if you're grounded, you put all of that aside. You put the moment. Tell y'all this. Jin Lin has said it before. Even I am the biggest empath ever. When you tell me you have a pain, I freaking feel it. I will tell you exactly where your pain is, how it feels. But that shuts off the moment I read for someone. I use it to help with the reading, not get emotional and get in their feelings. So if you're reading with somebody and they're super emotional and all this other stuff, that may not be for you. They're having a hard time grounding and putting up that barrier. That's what she was doing with you. She couldn't do it. It is not you at all. This is her.
Okay. Because that really, I was like, something must be totally wrong with me. If you can't give me a friggin' reading, what's going on?
It's not you. What did you get? Did you get anything, Johnny?
I get the exact same thing. I mean, you read my cards. There is serendipity, which is in alignment. Co-create, that is also in alignment. You coming to an opposite thing or an opposite side. You being fleshy, they being spiritual. Make the same thing. Yin, which would be used, this is the follower, and then TikTok, self-reflection. She could not align. Either there was one of 3 things happening. Like Adrian says, she was not grounded, or she was, well, no, actually that's it. because all the other ones, if you break them down, they all come into that anyway. So either she's in her own way, which again, you're not grounded, you're having a bad day or whatever it is, you're still not grounded. And when you are reading for a person, I don't care what it is you are going through, if you're going to be the vessel, be the vessel. And then let the vessel just read the cards.
Yep.
That's what you have them for. If you were just going to be the close your eyes psychics, then okay, maybe there's a different kind of thing you need to go through. But it's in front of you. Why you can't read it? If you can't read it, there's something going on here, or like we do, we need to change decks or something. But she just cut. Okay, I can't do this. Yeah. Why not? You didn't even pick the cards yet.
Got the cards, and she was like, "I can't read you." I'm like,
"Okay,
what?
Then you need to go home."
I thought it was me. I thought I was putting off some weird energy or something. I'm like, oh, okay. What's wrong with that?
You don't go into this as a profession, whether it be part-time or full-time, if you cannot work that out. We all have bad days. Lord knows we do. We're human beings first, but or that's when you tell, you know what, I am sorry, can we reschedule? I am just having the blues clues. And you tell them way before they show they behind up.
And it's probably a pattern of behavior, which is why Tracy knew to watch, because you're going to go in there and I bet you she's going to come right back out. And there she goes.
There she go. I knew that was going to happen.
You ain't got to be psychic to see that one.
She was like, that's okay, because she'll come in here.
She probably picked that spot. She was like, oh, this heifer can't read. I'm going to go to the heifer next to her. I'm going to book this boot space right here. Because I'm about to let the cash flow come in. I bet you out of the whole business day, she ends up picking up 8 out of 10 of them heifers clients. I bet you.
Yeah, and I bet that woman's not reading anymore because she seemed like a basket case.
She's probably just selling Avon.
Yeah, she's in somebody's MLM.
Thank you guys for coming on and sharing your cards and laughing and having a good time. And I really appreciate everybody in the chat. Jen Lynn, I saw what you said about me. But I just want to ask you guys to pray for my friend who is in the hospital. She had a brain bleed, and she's awake now, but they don't know how much damage there is because of the brain bleed. So her name is Sky. So send out prayers to Sky.
For what's the specific prayer, Tony, that we need to put out? Let's be specific, so we're all praying for the same thing. So
pray for a full recovery, even if she doesn't get that. Let's pray for full recovery, because I know it's possible. It may not be possible for her, but it's possible. I've seen it happen before. So let's pray for a full recovery for Sky. She's in New York City. So send your good vibes, your prayers, and your good energy to her. So thank you guys very much for being here. Thank you, Adrian. Thank you, Johnie. Hopefully you'll come back again and we can just joke around, and hopefully I'll have more cards.
Where else am I going to go?
So thanks for hanging with me. I really appreciate it. Have a wonderful weekend and see us on Friday together. We're doing this with Sienna Rose. We're going to just Friday with friends, and we'll do some more laughing and joking around, getting our minds off of what's happening in the world. So have a wonderful rest of the day, rest of the evening, and we'll see you soon. So goodbye, everyone. Take care. Walk in beauty.